raw, honest, passionate, inspiring, and a whole lot of fun. Welcome to Passion Warrior TV, where we talk with inspiring people who have gone from mess to success, from surviving to thriving, from tragedy to triumph, and who are now living lives of passion and purpose. I am your host, Dallas Michael Sear, delivering to you real interviews with real people, sharing real life stories and real life wisdom. And our mission here at Passion Warrior TV is to help you ignite your passions, live your purpose, and love your life. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, ho! Well, I got my hat turned back. It's all good. I'm from the hood. True story, though, ladies and gentlemen. I really am. I'm a man turned good from the hood. I want to welcome you to Passion Warrior TV. Where we're just doing inspiring, awesome shit and hopefully motivating you to live with passion and purpose, to ignite your passion, to live your purpose, to love your life. Please love your life. If you don't love your life, keep watching and we will help you to love your life. So this is episode 6. I mean, we're cranking. We're sharing some amazing stuff. I've already had so many epic interviews already of people who are just inspiring, as the opening says, literally have gone from surviving to thriving, have exceeded, expectations that have been put on them from other people. If you remember an episode, number 2 of PJ Dixon, who, the man was told that he wasn't supposed to live past 7. And he's now 39 years old. These are incredible, inspiring stories that I'm delivering to you along with content to help you live your best life. And ideally, what I want to do is I want to just take away everyone's excuse. Any excuse that you may have of why you're not doing what you love. Let me just remove that shit for you, because it's BS. So go do what your heart is calling you to do. In today's episode, what I want to talk to you about very briefly before we get into this amazing interview with my man Michael Anderson. First, I want to talk to you about having better relationships. I want to give you one real key point that I was reminded of in a meditation a couple of days ago. Then while this came up, I immediately had a call with one of my coaching clients that allowed me to apply this immediately. Funny how that happens. So at the time, I'm meditating, and this reminder came up from this amazing book. Maybe you can guess the book as I'm saying this. But this reminder came up of how important it is for us to first seek to understand, then to be understood. In any relationship, it's really important that the other person you're communicating with feel heard and seen. And in fact, I'm here to tell you that the number one piece of proper communication that I think will make a difference for you is this. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't even matter what your intention is. All that matters is how the person you're speaking to perceives what you say. I'll say that again. Your words are relevant. Your body language, irrelevant. Not completely irrelevant, but less important than the person's perception of what you're saying. That's really what matters. Because if you want to communicate effectively, it's not what you say, it's what the other person hears. And so I want to encourage you first, before you go into why someone should understand you, or what your important point is, or your genius idea, whatever it is you think you really have to share, I encourage you first to seek to understand the other person, to really listen at the other person's perspective and ideas, to ask them questions and engage these 2 things, right? Use them in proper proportion. 2 ears, 1 mouth. I'm sure you've heard that shit before, right? You've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use them proportionately. So in any good communication, seek first to understand. That'll require you first to listen more and listen better. The second thing is, when you seek first to understand, it puts you in your heart. It allows you, or hopefully it helps you to be more empathetic and more compassionate, and really opens up your heart to hear what the other person is saying and where they're coming from, because it matters. And lastly, it releases your need as well as the other person's need to defend. As soon as you feel like your point is so important and you don't first take the time to really understand where the other person's coming from, it will put them at odds to you. It puts their guard up. They can feel attacked. And rather than have them feel like they need to defend themselves, you should really have them feel like they've been heard, seen, understood, loved. And then I can promise you they'll be much more willing to hear whatever it is that you have to say. So seek first to understand. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that was a good, powerful reminder. And did any of you out there know what the book and author is? You, whoever you are, yes, exactly, you got it right. Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So classic, life changer for me. Now I want to introduce this interview here with my man, Michael Anderson. Good personal friend of mine, speaker, author, expert, entrepreneur. Michael Anderson has an MBA, MA. He's the founder of Executive Joy Institute. He specializes in leading competitive, driven people through this same transformation that he's been through, bringing joy and happiness into their lives. So from being just, well, you'll hear it right here. By the age of 35, Michael had played professional basketball. He's like really tall. He's like 7 feet fucking tall. Founded 3 international software companies, partied at the Playboy Mansion, and still was not happy. He was addicted to hard drugs and alcohol, nasty divorce, nasty lawsuit brought on by one of his partners. You'll hear the story in the interview. Dude actually punches him in the face. His quest for change included earning a master's degree in spiritual psychology from the prestigious University of Santa Monica. Michael has taught leaders around the world, in Panama to the Philippines to Australia to Mexico, and has a broad range of clients, including people from Microsoft, SAP, Stanford University, Vistage, Young Presidents Organization, and he is also the president of Conscious Capitalism here in San Diego, the San Diego chapter. So again, as always, we'll make sure that you are able to connect and learn more about Michael, but check out this amazing interview with my friend, R. Michael Anderson. Enjoy. What is up, Passion Warrior Tribe? Welcome to another episode of Passion Warrior TV, where we interview people who have gone from mess to success, from surviving to thriving, who are living an amazing life, and they're going to teach us how. You want to know? I want to know. I'm here with this guy, Michael Anderson. What's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
I'm awesome, man. I'm awesome. I really appreciate you having me in your home. Newish home, right?
All this awesome decoration.
All right. You've had time to unpack, put everything up on the walls. Exactly. You're a simple guy. This is all you need.
Simple guy. Exactly.
And you got cats?
Cats, yeah.
What are their names, if you don't mind me?
Om, and then the fat one's a little Buddha.
Yes.
Gotta do it.
I love it. Om and Little Buddha. I'm a cat lover, and the names are awesome. So I appreciate you coming on the show. We've only had a chance to meet just fairly recently, just started getting to know each other. One thing, though, right off the bat, from just meeting you, right away, you've been so inviting. If you see posts of mine on Facebook, and just offering free equipment and letting me borrow stuff, and being like a true neighbor. If I need sugar, I feel like you'd come right over and bring me a cup.
Boom.
Yeah, so I appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
Of course. And the way that I met you was at the Conscious Capitalism event. Yep. And so tell me a little bit about your background in that. That's pretty recent.
Yeah, so Conscious Capitalism is the worldwide movement started by John Mackey, the CEO of Whole Foods, and he wrote a book with a guy named Rod Chisodia, a researcher, and it really started a worldwide movement. And we're the 20th local chapter here in San Diego.
Awesome.
And like we met at the May 11th, 2015 inaugural event where we had 280 business leaders from around town. And it's really, I love the phrase that we're elevating humanity through business. And because that's what's really about, doing business the right way and giving back. Yeah. And there's so many things we can do as business people to really support, whether it's employees, customers, the community, the earth. Sure. When we do it the right way, we really facilitate change in so many ways. Yeah,
there's a heart in it. It's not just about the bottom line. And more when I talk to entrepreneurs, especially being out here in the area that we're in, we're very fortunate to be around individuals who are having kind of a triple bottom line conversation a lot of the time. Yes. It's still not the majority across the globe. That's why this work is so important, right?
Yes, and people are starting to ask the questions. Is this all there is? Right. And so it's actually a community and as well as a system to be able to implement some of those things. Because when I was a software entrepreneur, I was doing a lot of these things on my own, but I was just doing it because I thought it was the right thing to do.
Right,
I didn't know if I was on the right track or not the right track, and I did do a good job at it. But if I would have read the book or I'd have had a game plan, I could have spent a lot less energy for a lot better return and results.
Awesome. Couldn't agree more. And I mean, that's why not only did I enjoy the event myself, being in the audience, but I also signed up to join the chapter here in San Diego. So look forward to more.
Great.
For sure,
Happy
man.
to have you.
Yeah, thanks, man. So give me a little story about about your background. Where are you originally from?
Pittsburgh, Pennsensylvania.
Okay.
Yes.
PA, nice.
And yes, I'm a Steelers fan.
Are you?
That's the second
Awesome.
question that comes
Okay.
up.
Well,
I'm
joking.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
yeah. No,
It's
you're
a
not.
rough town, man. It's a rough town. Any Steelers fans, I apologize.
Yes,
You guys are
your
a violent
viewership
bunch.
just went down.
No,
10%.
yeah, a whole 10%. I doubt it. Between like Raiders fans and Steelers fans, I don't want to get in between any of you guys. Seriously. Yeah, it's a hard bunch. So that's where you grew up. So was it were your family pretty well off, or
we grew
not so well
up
off?
in I would say like a lower middle class family. It was a working. If you ever saw the movie Deer Hunter.
I don't know that I did.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an older movie. But
Okay. I know. I've seen the title.
When my mom grew up, she grew up in the exact town at the exact time Deer Hunter took place.
Okay.
If any viewers remember that.
Yeah.
And it was a steel mill. It was a steel mining town.
Ah.
And when steel really took a dive in the 80s and 90s,
The town.
Pittsburgh was a little bit of a repressed place.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't grow up poor, but I didn't definitely lower middle class suburbs is the best way.
Gotcha.
To describe it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Family was pretty good though. Like, how's your mom and dad?
My dad left when I was probably about 12. My
Okay.
mom was a single working mother, and it's interesting, Dallas, because I have so much respect for single working mothers.
Shout out to all the single working
Holy
moms.
cow.
Seriously, same thing. My dad left when I was 11. Remained a part of my life to some degree. I'd spend summers out with him, but my mom did a lot on her own. So
What angels, and they they literally put the world on their back. I
Mm.
mean, working a full day, coming home, making dinner for us, getting the
Sure.
laundry done, sleeping a couple hours, doing the whole thing again. Most of them aren't making a lot of money,
Right.
and I'm glad I appreciate it. The funny thing is I didn't appreciate it now, and I think, when I'm 14, 16, we don't really appreciate what our parents are doing. But
Yeah.
at least now.
what was your attitude then, though? Seriously.
Well, because my dad took off, and we there's a lot of patterns in my family, which I can talk a little bit about later,
Sure.
that maybe weren't healthy.
Whenever you're ready, Mike.
Yes. As I get through it.
Yeah.
But my dad has a lot of alcoholism in our family, and that addictive gene got passed on to me.
Sure.
And we didn't come from a very open family. It comes from a very closed with a lot of passive aggressiveness, and so that's. But we didn't know any better, and so we did the best we can. There was a lot of love in our family, but there was, to be honest, some dysfunction, and it was just, my dad leaving when I was that young. I'm really, really tall. I'm like 6'9", and it sounds funny, but when you're that tall and that young, it's very awkward, and it just, when I was a bit introverted, and it was difficult growing up,
Yeah.
and.
So were you more the type to be, like you said, introverted? So did you suppress a lot of the feelings that you were experiencing? Were you even aware of what you were feeling at that age?
No. We were my family, we hold things in, and we don't express exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
There was never any yelling, but there was tension
Right.
in the household.
Got it. You always feel it. Yeah.
And even though, I've come a long way, but I still catch myself going into those old patterns. But I'm aware of them, and I can catch them so much earlier.
Yeah, and that's really the key.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd like to believe that there is a point when we can progress beyond, and at the same time, it is a work in progress.
Yes.
So never perfect, but how do you feel that's molded you since? What do you feel you've taken away from that now that you can kind of look back in hindsight?
Well, like you said, Dallas, I think this is an important thing, because I keep this in mind, and the people I talk to, I keep in mind, where spiritual or emotional mastery, however you want to say it, it's not about never being angry, never being sad. It's about being okay with ourselves when we are angry or sad. It's about embracing the fact that we're human, and whether it's expressing it to ourselves or somebody else, but it's about embracing the fact that we're going to have our ups and downs and not trying to fight it or repress it.
Sure. Yeah, and that's a pretty Zen attitude now, but you didn't always have that Zen attitude.
I didn't have that Zen attitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take me to a time, early in your career, you're starting to sit out and work and doing what?
I started to get some success, in my early to mid 20s, and I got it through some software companies, and I really started to climb the corporate ladder. So I became a really good doer and a really good achiever, because I found I got some sort of connection. I was appreciated and accepted when I achieved. So I played semi-pro basketball over in Europe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then
how many years did you do that?
Couple years.
Nice.
Couple years.
Awesome.
And it was fun, and I achieved. I found, and I got that way out of hard work. And then when I started my software career, I started to climb the corporate ladder, and I got to be good at achieving. So there was a goal out there, and I would achieve that goal no matter what. And I found myself achieving. But the more I would achieve, I would keep waiting to get happy, but it didn't come.
That's that I don't know if that title already exists. I say you grab it right now, because before this airs to all the people in the world, because millions are going to see this, by the way, tomorrow. But waiting to get happy, that just sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really good book title. That would grab me.
Boom. I'm going to give the URL right
now.
Well, you're still, so you don't get it.
No, it's all right. Whatever. Hey, man, I'm throwing it out there. Awesome. So you were waiting to get happy. I've been there.
Yeah.
When did it actually? Did you find happy through that? Obviously.
I did not. I kept achieving,
yeah.
and it was almost getting further away. Not almost. It was getting further away.
Oh, that's ironic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Backwards.
So I was checking out stuff on the list.
Totally.
And you talk about mess to success in the opening, and I hit my low point. And for me, the low point came. I call it the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Right.
Okay.
So I
way to get biblical on us. Yeah. That's awesome.
Biblical on your ass.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
First was divorce. I married the pretty girl, the girl I was supposed to marry,
sure.
And obviously it was for outward reasons, not inward reasons. I had a business partner, and we talked about success. I got to the place where I became an entrepreneur, and I founded 3 international successful software companies. One based in Singapore, one was virtual, one was in San Diego, and I had good success. I was on the Inc. 500, 5,000 fastest growing company, nominated for most of them hired CEO in San Diego. So from the outside, everything looked really successful.
Sure.
But when people would come to me, they would say, "Hey, Michael, your life is so awesome." But I was thinking, "Yeah, my life sucks." It was really,
That's great.
I remember that.
Totally. Remember someone saying that to you, and that's the thought that you would have. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. So around that time, what was your, I guess, perception of what happy was supposed to be? If you had these accolades, right? Things that most people are chasing, or a lot of people are chasing, and you still weren't getting it. What was your version of happy at the time?
That's a great question. I've never heard it like that. But, reflecting on what you said, Dallas, because that is a great question. I think that I was always waiting to be happy. And what I noticed when I work with people, that if we're waiters to be happy, no matter what we hit, we always change the goal.
No matter what.
And,
right.
and if we hit it, it's just for a split second. Like, all right, I did it. Darn, man, why did it take me so long? Or I should have done more. Why
you find fault in the success, right. Even. Yeah, it sucks.
Right.
Wow.
I thought of actually, I was listening to a guy named Robert Holden, who's a pretty well-known author, in my audiobook when I was working out. And I came up with based on what he said, I came up with a great, real simple exercise for anybody to do. So write down what you're waiting for to be happy now. So just get out a piece of paper, even think of, when I make X amount of money, I'll be happy. What kind of car, I'll be happy. When I buy the beach house, when I start this business, or this business grows to be $100 million, write down what that is. Now rewind yourself, and when you were 18 or 20 years old, let's do 20 years old because you were in university, college by then.
Okay.
Write down what you were waiting for to be happy then. Because chances are you've achieved that.
Right.
And so why do you think now it's going to be different? Like, oh, I didn't know then, but when I was making 100 grand, then I'll be happy. But now you're making 150 grand, but you want to make $1 million a year. So if your list, it keeps changing, it's always going to change unless you make internal changes.
So is it fair to say that if your happiness is dependent upon external circumstances, you'll always be waiting to be happy?
You will. I mean, you might have small glimpses
windows,
of it.
right?
Yes, but it's fleeting.
Right.
And I say that's the difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is external, and it's okay to have external happiness, but joy is internal. And a real quick explanation of this is if somebody gives me $1 million, a second.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cut this part out anyway. Yeah. I keep forgetting I've got this necklace on and it keeps making noise on the mic. Okay, I always forget to take that.
And should we look at the camera sometimes and talk to each other sometimes?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Not bad. Okay, so that'll be spliced. Boom.
So the difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is external. So Dallas, if somebody gives you $1 million, you're gonna be happy, right?
Pretty happy.
Yes.
Pretty happy.
We're not going to test it right now, but yes.
So if you're out there and you want me to be happy, come on.
PayPal. Just PayPal.
Right, totally.
We'll
Venmo, yeah. I don't even want the fees. I want the whole million. Venmo. Is there a cap on Venmo? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
So you're absolutely going to be happy.
I'd be happy, right?
But they've studied happiness externally, and the most you're ever going to be happy is 3 months. You know, outside of like a family tragedy, but the most you're ever going to be happy or sad is 3 months. Wow. And normally it's like hours, days, minutes, right? You know, hey, I got a latte, I'm happy. 10 minutes later, totally. Seriously, but it's external and it's fleeting. And again, it's okay. So, you know, and they've studied this in literally lottery winners. So people that have won $1 million, after 3 months, they go back to their stasis, their neutral thing. But joy is internal, and joy can last forever. So if you build a company, and over a couple years, you build a company that brings you $1 million in personal income, but you have the pride of that company, the pride that you've built that company.
That makes sense. You've created, I get that.
It's internal, and what's cool is even 10 years down the road, you can, I call it reconnecting with your joy. You can call up that pride because it's something that's always inside of you.
Got it.
So joy lasts forever, but it's up to us to get rid of all the crap between us and our joy. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's awesome. And so give me a little bit about you weren't happy, you're chasing happy, but you're having all of this external success and accolades. What else is going on in your life at that time? You mentioned divorce. Assaulted by a business partner.
Okay. But that's like a lawsuit, restraining order.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the hardest single thing I ever went through. And then alcohol and hard drugs.
Hey, it's hard drugs.
Hard drugs.
Love it.
Yes. And obviously, when the first two, the divorce and the lawsuits, restraining orders, got, obviously the other two came in greater quantities.
Wow. Yeah. Sure.
And you know, and I always remember there's April 1st, 2007. I was sitting in my place, and it's right when I filed the restraining order, and it's just like my personal life, the marriage came crumbling down, and now my work life is crumbling down. And you know, to be quite honest, I was rolling a joint. I had the Jack Daniels poured, and I was going to do some cocaine. Okay. Which in those days is how I dealt with problems.
Right. Or technically avoided dealing with problems. Yes. Yeah, when you've got the triple threat, the Jack, the joint. Yes. Yeah. And a little,
and it's a great temporary solution.
Totally.
It's obviously very, very temporary.
Sure.
And I remember I was reflecting on my life. It's like, you know, what is going on? Because I'm doing what I'm setting out to do. I'm achieving.
Sure.
But where's my happiness? Am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? And it's like I got rid of God, and I got angry at God, and I didn't even know if I believed in God. But I'm like, am I cursed? Something wrong? And then I got sad. Is this going to be the way I live the rest of my life?
Scary thought.
It is a scary thought. But I made two life-changing decisions at that moment.
Okay.
Instead of self-medicating myself, I went and I took a jog. So instead of doing the self-destructive behavior, I did something that helped me.
So just literally, but at that moment.
I did. I was like, you know what, screw this. It's not working. I'm going to do this. And then I told myself, I am a good achiever, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to get happy. You know, because I've seen other people happy, and I'm good at doing stuff, so why not set my sights on that?
Yeah.
And I did. I found what I believe is the best place on earth to become happy. It's the University of Santa Monica. It's a master's degree in spiritual psychology.
Okay.
And because I knew a couple other people that have been through it, and they just had such a warm, loving way about them. And I just signed up, and I spent, actually, I did the master's degree, and then I did 2 additional years. So I spent 4 of the next 5 years working deep on myself, because we learn psychology from just a loving, compassionate focus, and we practice it on ourselves. And so we really do a lot of self-work. And
cool.
yeah, it was so life-changing. And it was, and I was sitting in my daydreaming in my second year of the master's, and I thought I wasn't put on this earth to sell accounting software, right? Which is my background. It was good, and I'm glad I did it. But, and I thought, how can I create a great life for myself? And I've always loved speaking and facilitating. I really, I've had such transformation myself, and business owners, people like you and I, the go for it type people, are my tribe. Okay. That's why we get along so well. That's why we have some of the same circle of friends, because we're the change makers, and we're the creators in this world. But there's something different about us. And so, how can I create a great life for myself? So I figured, why don't I become a professional speaker and help other people go through help other business owners go through the same transformation that I went through.
That's cool, right? That's when the light kind of went off for you to make that transition.
Yes.
That's what the next part of your journey was going to be.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you start doing from that point? I mean, you were still there.
Yeah.
You shortly finished your degree, or?
Yeah, I finished the schooling, and then But it was very intentional. What's important to realize that where I'm at now is intentional. It was not lucky. It was not chance. Right. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And I set the intention, and I waited for the right moment to come. The right person came to sell my main software company to. I sold the other software. So basically, I've been divesting myself of my software companies. And because I had the intention, I moved into creating the Executive Joy Institute. And I help competitive-driven people lead happier lives. Okay. So, because I find that the people, the creators of this world, the people like us that bring so much joy into this world, and leaders often give so much to other people. Yeah. And often we're so hard on ourselves. And it's almost like it's so ironic that we give so much, but we don't. So it's really my goal to help all the people that create in this world have a peaceful inner life.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's usually the thing that eludes them because they're so busy achieving. Yes. Right? That their life takes a back seat. Kind of ironic, right? Like their doing takes front seat. Yes. The external part takes front seat. Their life itself, the other part that might bring in balance, that might help to rejuvenate them and keep them grounded or centered, all of that it's not even in their framework. So that's awesome. What was the name again? Executive what?
The Executive Joy Institute.
I dig that. That's cool. Okay.
And just to play out something you said, sure. Oftentimes people that are very successful are doing it for the wrong reasons. For me, I was doing it for acceptance. I was doing it to get material worth, because I linked my material worth with my self-worth. Yeah, personal value. So that's a big part of Passion Warrior program too, is actually helping people get very, very clear on their why, Yes. And because honestly, people, make your own definition of success. And I'm recognizing a lot more people are doing that naturally now in conversations that I'm having, and it may be partly the circles that I'm in. It may be a new trend. This may be like a no duh moment for you. And at the same time, when I was learning to succeed, build a business, especially as a financial planner, I did not have my own version of success. I took on everyone else's, and I had a very similar issue about mirroring my net worth to my self-worth, So I can definitely relate. I'm sure you can too. So. Yeah, and it's good to remind people, because what I realize is I go through and I learn some of these things, even if I know it. Doesn't always mean I'm embracing it as much as I could. Right, totally. Because it's not like, am I doing it or not? I'm doing it like 60% today. Right. But then I watch a Passion Warrior program and I get reminded I'm back up to a 95. Right. But unless I keep at it, it's gonna, it's like a muscle. Right. Yeah, I totally understand this.
Can atrophy, yeah, for sure. That's a great point. Excellent point. And so, what are some of the things that you're working on now that maybe you'd like people to know about?
Yeah. So it's interesting because we talked about. We're good achievers. Sure. And so I've created a course called The Business of You. Okay. Because it's like the people that I work with, hold on a second. We're getting a train coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Train is coming through. We might even just leave that in. That just sounds cool in the background, right? I don't know.
That's a loud one. Sometimes they're freight trains. They go back.
You know the ones that carry like the freight. They're like 4 miles long.
Yes.
I remember. I can't remember where I was, but I just remember getting stopped by one of those. And of course, I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just watching this thing go. I'm just hating life. It's just. I'm trying to see the end of it. I'm looking down the road. There's like no end to this thing in sight. And there's like a car behind me. There's a train in front of me, and I'm just okay.
It's like all you can do is just breathe.
Totally. No need to. No. Okay, there. 1, 2, 3.
And so it's called the business of you because we're all good at doing things, but now we want to put our focus on helping ourselves. I mean, we put ourselves in learning sales skills or building this business. So let's put these same skills on creating the business of ourselves. And what's cool is when we spend time working on the business of ourselves, everything else changes. Because I believe that the relationship with ourselves mirrors every other relationship that we have. So when we come into more alignment and peace here, it's like everything else just falls into place. So instead of working on this, and this, I just work on this. And it changes.
Just naturally, the external. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it's a 7-week online course, and it's about taking ownership of your life. It's got all this great stuff I learned in this world-class master's in spiritual psychology. Okay. But it's for people like you and I. It's for the competitive-driven people, and because I tailor it just to people like us, you can learn so much at a very, very fast pace.
Cool. Okay. So it's for me if, like I'm, what is it? Stressed, out of balance.
Yeah, if you're stressed, you're out of balance. If you're always worried about where you're going or what happened in the past and you're not happy here, if you have that little voice in the back of your head that's always yapping at you, if you have this sense of anxiety all the time, something that we really work on are these self-limiting beliefs. So if you're always working really, really hard, and maybe you have an intention to spend more time with your family, and you tell everybody, this year I'm going to spend more time with my family or more time working out, but you never do it.
And the year goes by and you're like, okay, next year. Always next year,
It's always next year.
Yeah.
It's about doing this stuff now. And it's really, really powerful. I mean, everybody who goes through the course, that commits to the course, just are raving fans. And I'm really proud of the course, and because I do a lot of speaking, it's great to speak for an hour and people get excited. But I really wanted something because there's only so much change you can get in an hour keynote or even a one-day workshop.
Of course, that's very true, very true. So how do they find it? What is there something we can put in the show notes or a URL you want to throw out there?
We'll put a URL, and I'll tell you what, Dallas, because I really enjoy what you're doing. I'm going to put a couple different bonuses in. I have the procrastination toolbox. It's a 5-minute audio tape you can use to get. You can use to just listen to anytime you need a kick in the butt.
Awesome.
Yep, 15
procrastination
tips.
Toolbox. I like it.
It's like boom. I'll give you that. I'll give all your listeners that for free, and I'll also give you a thing called the Complete Journal. Okay. And it's something that you can use every evening. So if you're not happy now, it's got some really easy to use psychological tools for you to come into happiness right where you're at tonight. It takes 5 minutes in the evening. You do that for a week, and you'll have less stress, more confidence, more balance in your life.
Nice. Just raises your inner set point just from that little bit of time.
And it's teaching you habits.
Awesome.
And it's just like optimism habits.
Okay.
On that type of thing.
Cool.
And then
it's epic.
I'll put yes, it is, and I'll put a discount in for the online course, and I'll put there's a whole bunch of stuff. I just really like to give value, and I really want people to transform, to take some step, to commit to it. Yeah, it's a commitment, a little bit of commitment in money, and it's a commitment in time, but I can guarantee you that you're going to get something out of it. Your life will change.
Cool. Yes. I genuinely hope that they do take you up on that. I mean, I have a saying, I'm not the first to say it, you've heard it before, it's like knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is power. And a lot of times we think we need to go it alone, especially the type of entrepreneur that you're talking about. They often think they need to go it alone. Sometimes they need a little bit of like convincing and like arm twisting. But once they do, they have those realizations, as I did in the past when I was struggling, when you had your turnaround, is like, why didn't I do this sooner? right? It's that kind of like light bulb goes off. It's like, holy crap, man, I made it so hard for myself. Why didn't I do that sooner? And you realize the power of reaching out. It's not a weakness, right? It's a strength, saying, no, I want to do this, do it well, and do it in community. I don't have to do it alone. I can do it with a mentor, right? And so that's powerful. I appreciate you willing to offer that. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. And what was interesting to me is once I started doing the self-development, I thought I was effed up, but everybody's effed up. Just knowing that I wasn't the only one that had all these feelings of like guilt. And like,
he doesn't even swear anymore. Effed up. He doesn't know our show. Fuck that, man. That's all right. No, it's good. My audience can handle it. Otherwise, they're not my audience. Just let's end with this one. Let's end with two things. You're on your deathbed, and but you're going peacefully. Everything's good. You're happy, surrounded by whoever you want to be surrounded by.
Yes.
What's your words on the way out?
Sure. What's my words on the way out? I just.
On the way up, on the way in,
on the way out. Right.
There we go.
I would just tell everybody I love them. Yes.
Comes back to love.
Everything comes back. Everything is love. That's what I choose to believe.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. You and me both, buddy. And then outside of work, I mean, what else are you passionate about at the moment? I mean, you're doing amazing things. You seem to be being in a much more powerful place. What else do you enjoy doing?
Well, that's interesting, Dallas, because what I've realized is the more evolved people get, the more they give back. And I go, I love kids.
Okay.
I go down to the orphanages of Baja, Mexico, one time a month.
Okay.
And we're in San Diego, so it's about an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, easy to do.
There's an orphanage of about 60 kids that I go to every month and just play with the kids. I bring groups down, and then I'm sponsoring through a nonprofit. I'm sponsoring a girl, 19-year-old girl who's about to go into university. She's an orphan, no family at all. I'm like her older brother, and I sponsor her through the nonprofit, and I make sure she's staying out of trouble, doing her studying, and she's in Ensenada, which is right by the orphanage, an hour and a half away. So I give back, and it's I look forward to those weekends more than I do any other
that's beautiful.
time in my life.
Cool. Well, thank you for doing that, man. I'd love to come down sometime, actually, and check it out.
We'll get that on the calendar.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
And anity else wants to come,
let's go.
Send me an email, literally, and we will. I'll tell you, if you have a group of people that you want to go down, we'll set it up. You do some facilitation.
I've got a couple of people who yes, and I've got a couple of people in mind that I should connect you with if you're not already connected to them. So
yeah. And so if there's groups that you want to create a really powerful experience, get Dallas to facilitate you. We'll get you a house on the beach in Baja, Mexico. It'll be and we'll do service work with the kids.
Cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Can't thank you enough. And we'll make sure that everything that he shared is in the show notes for you. Stay tuned for another episode coming to you soon live. Thank you, Michael Anderson. I appreciate you, brother. You can find us at www.passionwarrior.com or email us at info@passionwarrior.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, passion_warrior, or find us on iTunes and YouTube at Passion Warrior TV.